Back here on the iHigh Video Network, the iHigh Broadcast Network, Marc Hall, to give you this final bow. Put this bow on top of this basketball season, on top of this National City Kansas Boys Sweet 16. It was a good one, it was a fun one, and we had two great semifinal games and a very exciting championship as well. And we're going to talk about those right now, get right to it, as there was a lot of action. In the first semifinal, you had Scott County taking on Covington Holmes, and what many thought could be the makings of an upset, as Covington Holmes was coming in, playing some great basketball, led by their Mr. Everything, Austin Hill. The Scott County showed why they're the number one team in the state, why they've been the number one team in the state all season long, and why it's very important to hit your free throws in a ball game in order to get a win. As Scott County was red hot at shooting open 15-footers, otherwise known as free throws, as the top-ranked Cardinals held on to beat Covington Holmes 73-64 in the first semifinal on Saturday morning. Scott County was able to pull away in a close game with a 16-1 run midway through the third quarter to go from 29-28 up to 45-29. And from that point on, Scott County sealed the deal with their free throws down the stretch. The Cards had only one field goal in the fourth quarter, a three-pointer by Tyler Portwood, as Cam Hunley and Matt Walls did the job there in that fourth quarter. But Mackey hit two free throws, and after that it was all Hunley and Walls. In fact, Hunley was a perfect 13 of 13 from the line. Matt Walls finished 12 out of 16. Walls had 25 points and 6 rebounds. Hunley 23 points on the day for the big senior. Mackey had 15 points for Scott County as well. Give Covington Holmes credit, though. They didn't go away, as Greg Rice did everything he could to keep his team in it. And Austin Hill finally got on track, as did Rez Henderson there in that fourth quarter, but it was a little too late. As Scott County moves on to the championship game, 73-64 winners over the Bulldogs at Covington Holmes. We got some comments from Coach Billy Hicks after the game. Let's see what the coach has to say about his team's win and moving on to the championship.
It's a tough basketball, tough team. They have some powerful play. They have everything it takes to beat anybody. So they're veterans. They've been here before and played well here before. And, they're so physical, mature kids, and it was a tough game out there. It was a tough game we played all year. Got to give Coach Henley and those kids credit. They flat out played. The ball game was we finally got a little cushion, had a little run to start the third quarter, and then was able to keep that lead out to probably 13 point lead, and then they started. They started fouling, and we're thank God we hit the foul shots today, and we're pretty good free throw shooting. When we can pick when they start fouling, we can try to determine who they foul. We got some guys who really shoot free throws.
Scott County Cardinals plant themselves in the championship game, where they will meet the number 2 team in the state, the Ballard Bruins, as they won over the Warren Central Dragons in a very great semifinal ball game. These two heavyweights and former state champs battled back and forth, tooth and nail, throughout this whole game, as no lead was greater than 6 points in this ball game, and that's on either side. Both teams led by 6 points each on one occasion, and then the final score of 6 points, 61-55, equaled the biggest lead for Ballard in the first half. The Bruins slipped past Warren Central 61-55, setting up a number 1 versus number 2 showdown in the state championship game on Saturday night. Central out-rebounded Ballard 44-32 in the ballgame and outshot them 41% to 36%. But it was the Bruins hitting 8 3-pointers to Warren Central's 4 and forcing 21 turnovers by the Dragons. The big stretch, 6 straight by Warren Central against the Ballard pressure that sent Ballard to the lead, and a lead they never lost from that point on. Midway through the third quarter, Ballard would, if I can find my papers here, would not blow things as many people thought might happen with the Warren Central experience, but they held on after they got that lead and eked it out 61-55. Ballard extends its winning streak to 26 games, and Warren Central had theirs stopped at 19. But a great year by Warren Central. And we got some final We got some comments from Coach Chris Renner about his team's playing Scott County in the state championship. Let's listen in with him.
Well, we're so blessed to be playing for the state championship tonight. This group of guys has worked extremely hard. They've had a tremendous amount of passion, character during this season. And, I just talked to them a minute ago about, I remember sitting in the locker room before and after the Scott County game and just talking about how this was going to be a great learning experience for us. And, I really believe this is going to be a special state championship game tonight because you really do have the two best teams in the state playing. I don't know how many times that really happens. I think if you look over the course of what happened this season, the both of us playing for it is going to be special. And I know Johan had a horrible game last time we played Scott County. And I remember really lighting the fire in his butt after the game, and he was disappointed. And I feel really happy that he's got a chance to redeem himself tonight. And he's had an incredible year. As I look at the stats for the game, Warren Central outplayed us in a lot of areas. If you look, they out-rebounded us. Field goal percentage was better. The one area that was big for us is we were able to force them into 21 turnovers. We didn't do a great job of converting, but it was in I think a couple key moments in that third quarter maybe where we were kind of not very active and we were trying to rely too much on playing offense. So we did a good job of forcing some turnovers and getting some easy baskets. So I thought that was a big stretch for us. And then obviously if you look at hitting 8 out of 23s tonight was good for us. We had that ability to do that. The way David was in the first half was big. And even though David didn't hit any threes in the second half, what he did is he drew the defender. So I told our guys that would leave gaps to penetrate. And really if we do a better job of finishing, then we're probably not fighting down to the wire.
Warren Central loses 61-55 to Ballard, setting up the state finals between the number 1 Scott County Cardinals and the number 2 Ballard Bruins. Warren Central ends their season at 35, 6 straight state tournament appearances with a championship in 2004 and a runner-up finish in 2005. Jeremy Anderson, who played in 5 straight state tournaments, tying Kentucky legend Richie Farmer with that many appearances in a state tournament by one player. He finished with 19 points. Monet Hudson leads the way for Warren Central with 20 and 11 rebounds. So another double-double by another great player in this state tournament. Avery Driver also had 12 rebounds for Warren Central. The Bruins are led in scoring by Johan Hamilton and David Stanley with 13 points each. Jonathan Golson had 11. Wesley Cox came off the bench to score 10 points in just 10 minutes of play. A big spark for the Bruins off the bench by Wesley Cox. And 20 Beckham, their leading scorer, finished with only 9, but he had a great floor game as he had 8 rebounds as well. So Scott County and Ballard in the state championship game. We'll talk about that one right after this, so stick around, folks, here on the iHigh Video Network, the iHigh Broadcast Network. I'll be right back.